Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Dallas area Mountaineers football. Joining us is the head coach, Bob Zaruta. Well, Bob, incoming to this year, a challenging schedule as always at Dallas, but I'm sure you're excited about this season along with your players as you get through preseason.
We are, John. The players are really looking forward to getting back on the field after a very difficult, challenging season last year, and looking to get back on the winning track early and stay there as often as we can, of course.
Well, one of those guys you have to look at right off the bat is Ryan Monk. He is a beast on the offensive and defensive lines. Absolutely.
I'm sure many other teams will be looking for a way to handle Ryan. He's just an incredible athlete and football player, and so we're excited about him. And of course, we've got another player that's one of the better ones on both sides of the football, and that's Justin Mucha, an exciting player that can make it happen anywhere on the field, special teams included.
We'll talk about Justin because he's one of those guys that's just a hard-nosed kid, but an awful lot of athletic ability.
Oh, for sure. I mean, some of the things that he does just amazes us. His just as natural, and he does it so naturally. His talent is just incredible. He's got a tremendous heart, and you got to love his style of play, John. He just goes about and does his business. He doesn't look for any spotlights to be on him. He's a very humble young man, and so he's an enjoyable young student athlete to coach.
Well, let's talk about some of the guys you have in the backfield: Ryan Cheskiewicz and Mike Olenginski.
Yeah, those two got a fair amount of playing time last year, did a really good job for us, and we can throw another runner into the mix. We have we feel very good about the fact that we've got three running backs that can all be a contributor to this team's success. And so Bret Storrs is a player that didn't see a lot of action last year. He had an injury, but we expect him to get some playing time in there with both Olenginski and Cheskiewicz.
Well, Coach, you move over to the quarterback position. Matt Harrison is the guy that should be getting the call this year, and he's a junior. Tell us about his talent.
Yeah, Matt took over the starting position at quarterback midway last season, and each game progressed and ended the season in fine fashion with 200-plus yards against Lake Lehman and ran for over 100. He's that type of player, and he's starting out this season with picking up where he left off, and we're going to look to tap his talent. He has the ability to find receivers. He's got a strong arm. We've got him for 2 years. We're excited about that, and when he needs to run, he can run the football as well.
Bob Zaruta, Dallas area Mountaineers football here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Well, Coach, you need some targets to get the ball to, and it seems as if you have a handful of those guys at wide receiver.
Yeah, we're deep at the receiver position. We have, of course, Omar Nijmeh, who was a starter for us last season, and he's back. And we've got a couple first-year players that we expect to be contributors, including Tanner Gattuso and a young football player, sophomore Christian Roberts. And then we made some other changes besides Justin Mucha, of course, being out there. We've got guys like Ryan Martin and Cole Dixon, who are both going to be juniors that have taken on the receiver role for us this year, and so far doing a pretty good job at it. So we're excited about our depth.
Coach, when we head back to the line, we talked about Ryan Monk. How about his leadership with some of the underclassmen you have, like an Ian Spare or Mike Farrell and some other guys, and what he could do to help mentor those guys?
Oh, he's been doing it since, it started, last year with these players that are returning this year, and he continued it in the off season in the weight room. He's that kind of player. He and the younger players just look up to him, of course. How can you not? But he works with them on their techniques, just like he's a coach on the staff, and we love it, and he loves it, and he has a lot to contribute in that capacity, and it's making a difference on these younger players without question.
Bob, when you return 5 starters on both sides of the ball coming back here for 2014, I'm sure there's some things in your mind. You said, okay, we got to improve on this, or, I liked this a little bit last year. And every coach will say, hey, we got to improve in every phase of the game. But what were a couple keys for your team? You said these are things we had to work at, whether it was in the weight room or agility-wise or, ability-wise when they're on the field.
Well, on the top of the list, John, is strength and conditioning. When you look at our season last year, most of the games we were in it at halftime. We had the lead that we lost in the second half. We didn't have the strength and conditioning to play the opposition that we play. And although our roster is relatively small, we are +8 this year, so we're excited about that. We have a larger roster, but relatively, we've got to be strong. We've got to be real conditioned. So we started working on that real early. And so that's on the top of the list. We also have to do the fundamentals really well, and we weren't the best tackling team last year. So it gets down to fundamentals, and that's a part of the game that we put a lot of emphasis on as we prepare for this season.
Well, you go down your schedule. There's no way that you can look ahead when you're Dallas or some of the teams, whether it's the Lackawanna or the Wyoming Valley Conference, week in and week out. You have your challenges. You're going to open up with a Quad A team in Scranton and Jake McCarthy. So that's maybe one of the best teams in northeastern Pennsylvania right off the bat.
That's right. And, we said to the players that, it's only one game. Let's take one game at a time, of course. But we've got to focus on that first game. It would be just a huge opportunity for us to go against that type of quality team and pull out a win, get a win. And what that can do for this young team for the rest of the season, it would speak volume. So we're preparing for it. We're going to take on the challenge. We expect good things to happen, and we get that win. It will launch us into, I think, a very successful season.
Bob Zaruta from Dallas area talking about the Mountaineers this season. They open up with Scranton. That game is a home game, but it will be played at Misericordia University. Coach, we appreciate your time you've given us, and we wish you well this season.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it.
Dallas area Mountaineers football here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.